After a crushing loss on Thursday night, Will Cordero gave a speech in the clubhouse, putting his faith in the team if they gave it their all. They could win any situation. In that loss, they had struggled with patience at the plate in a desperation effort, down 9 runs. Down 2 to the Muck Dogs last night, the Americans showed their patience more than ever before and came back to walk it off on the back of Chris Gazzaldo. Tonight starts another tough test as the Americans and Tarp Skunks start a 3-game series that will decide the playoff tiebreaker. It's the Americans, it's the Tarp Skunks, it's PGCBL baseball right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
That the ace of the Giant pitching staff that season was Niagara Falls native Sal Magley. A league low 2.71 earned run.
They chose Niagara Falls because of the stadium, because of the history, because they believe in Niagara Falls.
Tickets 716-215-6161.
And where do you play?
We play right at Sal Magley, gorgeous stadium.
Set the 1-0 to Boyle. Is hammered to right field.
Go, baby, go, baby, go.
Come here,
go,
fence!
Baby.
That ball is way out of here.
We welcome you to Sal Magley Stadium, the Americans and Tarp Skunks starting a crucial 3-game series. This 3-game series, if the Americans and Skunks are tied at the end of the season, will decide the playoff tiebreaker, as the season series right now is at 3-3. These 3 games are it between these two squads. I'm Andrew Roberts. I'll be taking you through all the action tonight alongside our color commentator, Avery Vogt. Avery, welcome back on the call, and how are you doing today?
Well, Andrew, after that game last night, I've seen a new light of hope for these Americans. That was a very, very well-done game by the Americans last night, so I'm in a lot better of a mood today, so I'm looking forward to see what these Americans got left in the tank with them.
Yeah, I think it really came down to patience. In that game against Auburn, where the team was down by 9 runs late in the game, they were just starting to lose their patience. In a desperation effort, they were swinging at a lot of bad pitches. But then last night, so much more patience shown. It paid off to keep them in it through the 8th and 9th, and then eventually allowed Chris Gazzaldo to be the hero and lead the comeback. Found the perfect pitch and hit a walk-off single. And last night, Avery, we called him the X Factor. He has indeed been an X Factor for this team. Might be a new nickname here on the broadcast. In 28 games that Chris Gazzaldo has played, the Americans are 13-5 when Gazzaldo has a hit. When he doesn't, 5-5 record. So a big difference, and I really feel that he's the true X factor to this lineup. I mean, Graham Moore is always going to hit. Gavin Boyle is always going to have his power, as is Graydon Miller. Chris Gazzaldo has his good nights, has his slower nights, but when he's on, the team is rolling.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a great all-around player, too. Noting how they have a better record when he actually receives the hit as well, but you got to note, too, he's a great defender, too, over there playing at third base. He's one of these infielders that have really resonated with this team, so he's a great all-around player for this ball team.
Absolutely. Gazzaldo, a huge impact for this team, and this could not be a better night for him to continue the good work after a hit-by-pitch sac fly and an RBI single last night, as the PGCBL standings are very tight headed into this one. The Muck Dogs in first place at 22-10-1, but the Americans, after beating them last night, are just a half game back. Win tonight, and if the Muck Dogs lose, that's a chance to take over first place in sole possession of it. Tarp Skunks in third place, 1.5 games back. This series with these two teams so tight, going to be very crucial. Lots of playoff implications. Auburn Double Days in the final playoff spot right now, just a half game back of Jamestown, but the Pioneers knocking on the door, and they play Auburn in tonight's games. Newark Pilots in 6th at 15-16-2 play the Muck Dogs tonight. Red Wings and Ironbacks both have the night off and are both eliminated, so I would argue tonight's PGCBL schedule, most playoff implications in this West Division that we've seen the entire season. The top 6 teams all in matchups against each other. The bottom 2 that are out, both off for the night. So really a very tough PGCBL schedule all around.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be any easy games out here for the PGCBL, and all these teams are very bona fide and solidified teams, and like you said, Andrew, there's definitely early implications for these playoffs, so kind of a good aspect point of the PGCBL. They scheduled some good games, and it's definitely going to be a look forward in the next coming weeks with these playoffs coming around the corner.
Yeah, doesn't get better than this. High stakes, exciting games. I mean, it was so exciting last night. Most thrilling win of the season. But we'll give you a look at the Tarp Skunks lineup these Americans will face. And this is one of the best lineups in the West Division, so not going to be easy. Leading off is Brady McGuire at second base. Nolan Smith batting second, playing first. Ben Slanker, he's a new name since the last time these teams faced off. The commit to Louisville after a monster year at Ohio where he hit 21 bombs. Justin Bremner, the cleanup hitter, playing center field. Nathan Borchert, the extra hitter, bats fifth. Brady Marshall at short, batting sixth. Dom Costello, the DH, bats seventh. Eric Weeks batting eighth in right field. Blake Herman joining two other Canisius players in this order, playing third. And Branston Lindquist doing the catching and batting last. I mean, this lineup from top to bottom, just so much talent. So for the Americans and John Ondas, the starting pitcher, going to be a tough test.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy again here for the Americans after last night playing the Muck Dogs. They had a great lineup as well, but back-to-back days are going to have tough hitters, and with John Ondas on the mound today, he's definitely going to have a challenge cut out for him. So we'll see how we deal with these batters today.
I mean, this Americans team, I mean, they may not have the huge names that the Muck Dogs and Tarp Skunks have, but they're so gritty. They have so much upside. It's any given night for this team, and John Ondas is a perfect example of that. A little bit of a slow first start, but since then has been dominant. 3-0 record, 3.75 ERA, 22 strikeouts. Product of Niagara University alongside a few other Americans pitchers. This guy, even against these Tarp Skunks, had a very nice game. That was out of the pen, now getting his first start against Jamestown.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those pitchers that the Americans like to see on the mound.
And we will pause for the national anthem.
Please welcome Apollo. And now, fans, you know him, you love him, you can't get enough of him. Please give it up for your in-stands host, a true patriot wrapped head to toe in freedom. He's the red, white, and blue glue holding the spirit of the stands together. Welcome, Yankee Doodle Dan! Yankee Doodle Dan giving it up for 716 night. You all right, Dan? Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you rise if able and remove your caps as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you, folks.
We bring you back on this 7-1-6 night for Americans and Tarp Skunks, and nice national anthem by Doc Fonts, our public address announcer. Ceremonial first pitch coming out in just a moment, but perhaps most notably from the pregame ceremony, Yankee Doodle Dan in Buffalo fashion, jumping through a table.
Yeah, that's something you see all the time, especially in those tailgates down at Bill Stadium, and as they're on the rise of getting a new one, just being built, almost done with that. And yeah, any tailgate you go, you'll see people jumping through tables and a million other different things, but it's such a great environment, especially for these Buffalo fans.
I mean, yeah, Bills fans, some of the most electric in the league. Maybe not to the level of Patriots fans. I made a bold move today. I mean, 7-1-6 night, but the opposite of 7-1-6 is 6-1-7. My home area, Boston. I brought in a Hunter Henry jersey for the Patriots. Just fun to think about football season coming up. Bills probably taking the AFC East, but I like the Pats for second place.
Yeah, Andrew, you got that right. The Bills are definitely going to having the strong season this year, especially coming back after that MVP season from Josh Allen. So he's definitely going to come back, and I would hope come back even stronger and better for these Bills.
And first pitch tonight was from the cousin of our social media manager, Frankie Morris. A nice first pitch to start us off, and now John Ondas taking the bump for himself. As we get ready for Americans baseball, Brady McGuire, Nolan Smith, and Ben Slanker due up for the Tarp Skunks. This is a killer top three. I mean, Ben Slanker, Division I star, just transferred into ACC school Louisville. He's going to be a tough customer for Ondas. First time that Ondas will see him. However, McGuire and Smith have seen these Americans plenty.
Yeah, McGuire and Smith are both definitely capable hitters. They got both over a 320 batting average, and they got tons of ribbies, so these guys can definitely be one of their spark hitters here for these Tarp Skunks. So Ondas is definitely going to have his work cut out for him as soon as this game starts.
Definitely John Ondas, oftentimes defined in his starts by how he does in the first inning. So we'll be watching closely to see how his first inning goes against Jamestown. Obviously, a tougher than usual top three to start off. But we'll have to see what happens as the Americans have the momentum. I mean, the Tarp Skunks just lost in a 14-12 slugfest last night against the Pilots. So their pitchers a little tired out. The Americans have the momentum after that walk-off win. Can they carry it into this game, even with some different players in the game for Niagara Falls? Brady McGuire will start things off for Jamestown. McGuire, 353 hitter on the year, 971 OPS, 1 homer, 20 RBIs. Takes the first pitch low and in for ball one. And we are underway here from Sal Magley. Ondas, the right-hander, will face one righty and two lefties to start off. This is the only righty of the batters due up, and it's an outside ball 2 to him. Got to take advantage of this same-handed matchup with back-to-back lefties coming up. See how Ondas can recover from the 2-0 count. In there on the low edge for strike one. Similar pitch to what Luke Blandino was throwing at his best last night.
Yeah, both of these guys look like they're trying to paint the bottom corners, and for Blandino, we know it worked, so let's see if Ondas can keep that going.
Foul tip right behind the plate to even up the count at 2-2. I mean, Blandino was pulled after 4 innings last night just to fill up this count. John Ondas facing a full count in his very first batter face. Brady McGuire ready for the payoff pitch. It's upstairs for ball 4. McGuire, the first base runner for Jamestown, and Nolan Smith up next. And, I mean, the Skunks have used Smith in a leadoff role on many occasions, but tonight Smith sliding down to the 2 spot to make way for McGuire's move up the lineup. McGuire at Seton Hill had 24 stolen bases, so his base running definitely useful at the top of the order. First pitch from Ondas, fouled off down the third base line. The Tarp Skunks looking to get something going in this very first inning. Nolan Smith, a .327 hitter, product of SUNY Cortland. 0-1, and McGuire takes off. The throw from past is not in time. Alan Ramos eventually laid down the tag, but only after the slide was successful from Brady.
Yeah, Ramos there trying to cover the bag, but throw from past just a little bit offline, and yeah, like you said, McGuire there gets to second.
That's McGuire's 12th steal, ties Brady Marshall for the team lead. The Bradys are the speed demons of this team. It's 1-1, now 2-1 to Nolan Smith. Smith has a runner in scoring position already with nobody out. And McGuire has a big lead towards third as well. Breaking ball finds the low edge for another strike. Counts all evened up, just like it was against McGuire, but last time Ondas threw consecutive balls to walk Brady. Ended up stealing second. Got to get Smith out right here. And it's a ground ball right to Miller. The slide. Ondas coming over to cover first base, and he makes the tag for out number 1. So right to Graydon Miller, but he has to move a little bit for it. John Ondas with a good job covering the bag.
Yeah, Graydon Miller, that ball wasn't necessarily in a bad spot, but Graydon Miller's just got to get away from the bag. So yeah, honestly, a good job covering first base there.
Speeding over from the pitcher's mound to record out number 1, all himself. Ben Slanker, the lefty, facing Ondas for the first time today. Takes one outside for ball 1. I mean, this guy's numbers in his first handful of games as a Tarp Skunk are just unheard of. 600 batting average, 1575 OPS with a home run and 5 RBIs. Takes one down the pike for strike 1. One's across the board to Slanker. McGuire now on third base after the ground out advanced him. John Ondas looking to retire Slanker this first time through. Fly ball into deep left field. Foul territory. Drops to the left to Gavin Boyle. Saving his energy, as it's very early in this game. So Ben Slanker, 21 homers at Division I Ohio in the spring. That earned him a transfer to Louisville. So a Power 5 school waiting for him when he's back in college, and it's a ground ball to Kiefer. Throw to Miller is in time, but McGuire scores. Ben Slanker, the RBI ground out, 2 down, 1-0 Skunks. Jamestown on the board early, but Ben Slanker retired. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, no, with Slanker's numbers, you would have thought he would have had at least a hit or a drive to the warning track there, but no, I'm just happens to get some soft and weak contact out of him, and fortunately the run scores the Tarp Skunks, but they get the nice out there on Slanker.
Yeah, I mean, even the best hitters like Slanker, not going to get a hit every single time. Justin Bremner up next. Bremner, a very hot start to the season, but has cooled off a bit. .339 hitter with an .887 OPS. Takes one down the pike on the breaking ball for strike 1. Bremner. 2 homers, 23 RBIs. Base is empty right now with 2 down. 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Justin Bremner has just 1 strike left to extend this inning. First of 3 Canisius products in the Jamestown lineup. And he's in an 0-2 hole. Pitch from Ondas is inside. Close shave on Bremner for ball 1. Justin Bremner flies that into right center field. Panaro backing up, makes the grab for out number 3. So a quick first inning despite the early walk-on McGuire. John Ondas gets out of it with just 1 run allowed. We'll be right back with the bottom of the first after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the third inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
We bring you back for the bottom of the first inning, and we'll give you the Niagara Falls Americans starting lineup in just a moment. And here it is. Grant Moore leading off, playing center field. 404 hitter leading the team. Chris Gazaldo batting second. The RBI knocked to end the game last night. Gavin Boyle in left field bats third. Graydon Miller in the cleanup spot at first base off of 3 for 4 in the evening against the Muck Dogs. Shane Prey in at DH batting fifth after a few games out. Carmen Panaro in right field batting sixth. Nick Pastu in the catching bats seventh. Tommy Mathay, the extra hitter, bats eighth. Connor Kiefer at second batting ninth. And Alan Ramos, the shortstop, to round things out. They'll be facing Colin Bolla for the first time this season, or at least the first time out of a start. The lefty 1-1 with a 1.76 ERA and 18 strikeouts. Out of Division III Penn State Berend, but Bolla has just had an excellent start to this season, Avery.
Yeah, Bolla, like you said, Andrew, the Americans haven't seen him from a start perspective, so be a different approach here tonight for these Americans as they don't really know what they're facing.
Yeah, and the Americans have had more lefties than usual in the lineup of late, but another left-handed pitcher for the second straight evening. And Grant Moore, the lefty, takes strike one on the outside corner to start things off. Moore led off the game last night with a single, no hits after that. And it's low and away for a ball. But Moore, arguably the most consistent hitter in this order, a PGCBL All-Star, and a 400 hitter. Outside for another ball to Moore. That's 2 consecutive from Bolla. Gazaldo and Boyle also due up this inning. Line shot in the left field foul. Evens up the count. Grant Moore with the count even. Pitch from Bolla. Lined down the first base line. And it's out. Number 1, right to the first baseman, Nolan Smith. Grant Moore retired early.
Number 42, Chris Gazaldo.
Nolan Smith does it all himself, and here comes Mr. Walk-Off, the X-Factor, Chris Gazaldo. 13-5 is the team's record when Gazaldo has a hit. First pitch to Chris, just outside for ball 1. So, I mean, Gazaldo responsible for the biggest moment of the night last night. See if you can follow it up with a big game today. Inside ball 2 to him.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Andrew. The numbers don't lie. When Chris gets a hit, we have a better result of winning. So we'll see right here with the second spot here for Gazaldo. If he gets a hit, we might be in for a good game.
Right now up 2-0, though. Chance for a walk. Another one inside, but finds the corner for strike 1. Breaking ball. Effective there in painting that corner. Gazaldo did not bite. Not even really a hittable pitch. 2-1 is a high chopper. That goes to Herman at third. The throw in time for out number 1. A big stretch by Nolan Smith to complete that tag. Gavin Boyle is up next for this team. Boyle, recently named Player of the Week, hasn't had a hit since the announcement, but looking to change that tonight. Committed to go to Southern Indiana next year. Big cut and miss on the breaking ball for strike one to Gavin. If Boyle is retired, this inning is over in 1-2-3 fashion. Colin Bolla showing what he's capable of early. The 0-1 outside for ball one to even things up. Boyle leads the Americans with 3 home runs. Tarp Skunks have 13 total on the year. Pretty unprecedented for this league. Big cut and miss. It's 1-2. I don't know about that chase from Boyle. It's a breaking ball pretty far out, and Boyle goes hacking anyways. 1 strike away, Bolla from ending this inning. Some nice framing by Lindquist there, but it won't fool the ump. It's 2-2.
Yeah, it looks like Bolla right there tried to go back to that same pitch that fooled Gavin Boyle, but no dice that time.
Boyle learning from his earlier mistake. It's now 2s across the board. That gets in there on the low edge for strike 3. Gavin Boyle, the first strikeout victim of Colin Bolla tonight. We'll send it to the top of the second after the break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
We bring you back for the top of the second inning, and this second inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards, a great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. Andrew Roberts back with Avery Vogt in this top of the second. John Ondas looking for another strong inning after just 1 runner led on last inning. Brady McGuire did come around to score, but that was it for Ondas in the first inning. 3 consecutive batters retired, and now Borchert, Marshall, and Costello to face him next.
Yeah, there wasn't much traffic on the bases last inning for Ondas, but like you said, Andrew, unfortunately gave up the first run, so let's see how Ondas can recover here and try to throw up an egg on the scoreboard here.
Would be huge for the Americans, who are looking to tie this up or even take the lead in the bottom of this inning. Ball 1 inside, briefly gets away from pass, but base is empty, so no further damage there. Borchert, batting .299 on the year. Takes one just outside to make it 2-0. Product of King University. Skunks have 6 Division I hitters in this order. Borchert, not one of them. But Marshall, who's on deck, one of those Division I bats. 3 consecutive balls from Ondas to the batter Borchert. Nathan Borchert showing his patience in the early going. Takes one on the low edge for strike 1. I mean, Ondas knew for the most part that PGCBL hitters do not have the green light, so not afraid to attack there. We'll see if he can keep attacking successfully on this pitch. It's a ground ball to Miller. Ondas coming over to cover again. John Ondas with the range off the mound for another ground out.
Yeah,
That's
that was
one
just,
down.
That was just a nice play right there. Graydon Miller comes over from first base again, and John Ondas being his best friend right now over there at first base and covers the bag and gets a nice first easy out.
Almost identical to that play on Nolan Smith an inning ago. Brady Marshall up next, and he's been very hot at the plate. 341 hitter and a grounder to Ramos at short. The throw to first in time for out number 2. So, I mean, even the hot hitters getting silenced by the Americans thus far, but going to have to get the bats going to respond to that early run.
Yeah, I mean, Ramos there looked like it took him a second to grab that ball, but man, he can really whip that ball over to first base, and he did, and just beats it out and gets a nice second out here for these Americans.
It's Dom Costello up next, product of Gannon University, DHing for Jamestown tonight. Takes it outside for ball 1. Costello, 325 batting average, 744 OPS. Very similar numbers at Gannon, but a higher OPS at 891. Fly ball, foul territory down the third base line. It's out of play. And here comes the stampede, per usual, for those foul balls. Can be exchanged for snacks, as we always like to bring up here on the broadcast. High pop-up into the shallow infield, third base side, and it's caught by Chris Gazaldo for out number 3. 1-2-3 inning. John Ondas has retired 6 consecutive batters. We'll send it to the bottom of the second after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Hey fans, this season get yourself the latest Americans gear. Hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, baseballs, and much, much more. Stop by the merchandise stand, buy concessions.
Merchandise stand, typically operated by our social media merchandise manager, Leah Fraun, but today, a little swap. Leah Fraun managing the beer garden, Emma Crocker over at merch.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different, and they had a hot item down there I heard today with some signed Grant Moore baseballs. If I was a kid, I would love to buy one of those, as Grant Miller is one of the best hitters here on this team.
I mean, the Americans may have had a player just drafted in Matt Barr, but Graham Moore has seen a lot more playing time for Niagara Falls, and he's been the star here for this team. Graydon Miller kicks things off for the Americans in the second inning, swing and a miss for strike 1. Will be followed up by Shane Prey and Carmen Panaro. Pitch is grounded to the second baseman, McGuire. Throw in time for out number 1. Had some air on it at first, but then dropped in front of Brady. It's 1 down in the second inning.
Stepping in, DH number 44, number 24, Shane Prey.
Shane Prey up next. Prey on the year, he's batting .318 with a 771 OPS. Big cut and miss for strike 1 here, though. Just his second time in the DH slot. Arm been a little sore, so sticking mostly to hitting with the occasional third base appearance. Chris Gazaldo's really settled in at third as well, but it's ones across the board to Prey.
Yeah, we had sometimes seen Brady Bowles over there at third base, but yeah, as you said, third base now taken over by Chris Gazaldo, so you got to lock down on this infield here.
Yeah, it was a tough loss for the Americans, but an expected loss when Brady Bowles left midway through the season as a half-and-half situation with 2 summer ball teams going on. 2-1 pitch fouled off by Prey to even things up. But Brady Bowles, while he may have left, his spirit's still with the team in the form of so many of his Panola teammates. Chris Gazaldo, Tommy Mathay, Hudson Boring still around. 2-2 pitch to Prey. Popped up. First base side this time around. Smith is there. He's under it to make the grab. So Nolan Smith with consecutive putouts here. Carmpanaro up next. Panaro, 258 hitter, 887 OPS. Can also pitch, but with the amount of bats that have been departing the Americans, Panaro has seen a lot more time as a batter. Inside for ball one to Carm. And I mean, really should be seeing time as a batter, as he arguably should have been all along. Great hitting numbers all season. That's outside on the over adjustment from Bolla.
Yeah, like you said, Andrew, Panaro getting more playing time here, but not to back play. He's a very design and crafty pitcher, so he can play both sides of the ball very well.
Best two-way player on the Americans. Tommy Mathay has dabbled in pitching, but primarily a hitter. He's in the hole with Past on deck. Mathay on a 3-game hit streak. So he's starting to heat up for these Americans. But 3-0 to Panaro. And gets in there for the first strike on the outside corner. Bolla also aware of the lack of green lights on those typical 3-0 pitches in the PGCBL. Here's the 3-1 to Carm, and it's another strike, same spot. Colin Bolla has found his spot in the strike zone. Will Panaro try for it and make a swing with the full count? Here's the payoff pitch from Bolla. It's swung on and fouled down the first base line. And a lot of times these Americans have had Will Cordero coaching third base, but today it's the other manager, Paul Wolf, at third, and then Will Cordero on the first base side. Payoff pitch again, swing and a miss. Carm Panaro strikes out. Back-to-back innings ended by strikeouts. This one swinging, even though the last one was looking. We'll send it to the top of the third. Americans have still yet to have a runner on. We'll be right back.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the third inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Bottom 3 of the order due up for Jamestown to face John Ondas in this top of the third inning. Third inning here on the Americans Baseball Network, brought to you by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, Geico of Buffalo, Sammy's Pizza, and McDonald's. If the Americans score 3 runs in this game, all the fans of the stands will get a free McCafe Frappe. It came at the last minute last night. The walk-off win not only securing the 24th Americans victory of the year, but also, as you mentioned, Avery, securing frappes for everybody in the stands.
Yeah, usually when these Americans get frappes, it's usually about, by the 5th or 4th inning. And last night, if you left the game a little early, you wouldn't walk home with any frappes, but had you stayed, you would have been receiving those frappes after that nice walk-off victory last night.
I mean, it's very rare that frappes are given out all that early anyways. Just Americans want the fans to stick around for the action, of course. But Eric Weeks, Blake Herman, and Branston Lindquist facing John Ondas for the first time today as we get underway for the third inning. Only base runner for Jamestown came on a walk. 6 consecutive batters retired for Ondas since then. It's a low ball 1. Eric Weeks, the right fielder, Another one of those Canisius studs for this Skunks lineup. Just outside, and it's 2-0. Weeks a .256 hitter, .805 OPS. 3 home runs, all coming fairly recently. Second on the team in homers behind Jacob Haynes, who's out of the lineup tonight. High fly ball into deep center. Moore's backing up, and he jumps up to make the grab. Grant Moore robs what likely would have been extra bases for Eric Weeks.
Yeah, Eric Weeks just sends out a deep shot. Unfortunately, though, Grant Moore makes that nice catch at the warning track. Seems like Eric Weeks should have had his flapjacks this morning, would have had the extra strength to hit it over the wall.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a tall wall out here, so not common you're going to see home run robberies, but how about a double robbery right there for Grant Moore? Eric Weeks retired on an excellent catch. And that's a line drive over the head of Kiefer. No hitters gone for Ondas. It's a base hit for Blake Herman. Herman, first time starting against these Americans, and he's off to the races.
Yeah, he just gets a nice pitch right there, drives it right over the head of Connor Kiefer, and gets on first right there.
Branston Lindquist to round out this Skunks order. Ondas. First pitch to him low, but finds the edge of the zone for strike one. Lindquist batting .333, .878 OPS. One of 3 catchers in the main rotation for Jamestown alongside Borchard and Haynes. Delansky's mixed in at times, but not too often. Strike 2 on the outside corner from Ondas. First base runner since inning number 1 on the base hit by Herman. But Ondas been very effective overall. And it's 1 strike away from out number 2. That's low for ball 1, and the steal. Blake Herman takes off for second as it's 1-2 on the count.
Yeah, that ball just seemed to get away from Nick Past. Seems like he would have had the throw in time, but just unable to control that ball there behind the dish.
Herman, just his 2nd steal of the year, and has a lead towards third already. Hasn't seen a ton of playing time, so likely faster than that steal number gives off, but it's chopped foul. And very hot day here at the ballpark, but not much sun, so making it feel a little bit colder than it normally would, and it's making for a pretty nice evening here at the barbershop despite the overcast skies. May not be a romantic looking sunset, but still a nice night for baseball, and it's 2-2 on the outside corner to even up the count. Apollo trying on some glasses from one of tonight's baseball buddies. Don't really fit him and his big head. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. The chase by Lindquist, strike is dropped, but in time for out number 2 at first base. The silver lining for Jamestown, Blake Herman able to take third base on that one. Very rare that you see guys take bases on a strikeout, but Blake Herman taking advantage of Nick Past's drop of the strike. Brady McGuire up for the 2nd time after the leadoff walk. Scored from third last time around, now has a runner on third. Popped foul for strike 1. McGuire is a .353 hitter out of Seton Hill. A key part of the playoff run for Seton Hill in Division II. Played at third base there. He's at second tonight, but he's played plenty of third for the Skunks as well. Ground ball to Ramos at short. Throw to first will end the inning, and there it is. Out number 3. Ramos completes the out to Graydon Miller. And the Tarp Skunks retired as we send it to the bottom of the 3rd after the break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
We bring you back for the bottom of the third, and we will give you an update around the West Division. Muck Dogs are up 6-0 on the Newark Pilots in the top of the second. So that game getting out of hand already. Pios and Doubledays, though, scoreless through the top of the third inning. A little pitcher's duel underway in Auburn. Garrett Rochon for the Pios and Eric Korzeniewski for the Doubledays. I mean, you'd expect that out of the Doubledays ace Owen Burchard, but Korzeniewski with a nice start to the game as well. And the Americans will have their 7, 8, 9 of the order here. Nick Past, Tommy Mathay, and Connor Kiefer. Past, 227 hitter, a 717 OPS, 1 homer, 9 RBIs. Product of Eastern Florida State College. Spent 2 years there, now looking to move up from the JUCO level, and it's outside for ball one. Past. Been a rock for this team behind the plate, especially since Dalton Harper left. The 1-0 swung on and missed. Past chasing the low pitch from Bolla for the strike.
Yeah, Past here, he's a great catcher behind the plate, and like you said, Andrew, didn't see as much playing time as he hoped in the beginning of the season, but with Harper's leave of absence, Past definitely got a lot more playing time and really bona fide himself here behind the dish.
1-2 to Pass. Harper was shut down for the summer, getting ready for his next season of college ball, but the 1-2 pitch upstairs to even things up. That was close, but stays high, and Past is still alive. Bolla with the count even. Swung on and missed. Nick Past goes down swinging. It's the second consecutive strikeout for Bolla. Never mind, that's a foul ball. Here's the 2-2. And it is just low. Counts now full. Nick Past, after what was very close to being strike three, got a piece of it and fighting. Payoff pitch right here. Fouled off again. So, since the 2-strike count came up on Past, couple of balls, couple of fouls, he's battling here. Very competitive at bat every time he's up, but there's the punch out. Nick Past goes down looking, second consecutive strikeout for Bolla after all. Tommy Mathay up next. And a bit of a slow start to the season, but he's heating up. 296 at Panola this spring and a 3-game hit streak. Just on the outside corner for strike one. Mathay, product of Panola alongside Chris Gazaldo in this lineup. 0-1 pitch, similar spot but further out. One's across the board to Tommy. With the even count, another outside pitch and too far. Lindquist tried to frame it, but second consecutive ball. Mathay showing his patience, hasn't swung yet. There's the swing. It's a grounder to Brady McGuire at second. Throw is in time for out number 2. Really got a pitcher's duel on our hands so far. The only run scoring when Brady McGuire came around after the walk. Just one hit for the Skunks, the Americans, without one so far. And I mean, Colin Bolla, a perfect first 8 batters. Can he keep it up against Connor Kiefer? Down and in for strike 1. Kiefer, 318 hitter, 820 OPS. And high chopper to the third baseman, Herman. The throw across the diamond in time for out number 3. Colin Bolla nearly through the first time through the order without a scratch. We'll send it to the top of the 4th after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
We bring you back for the top of the 4th inning. This 4th brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 237, by Johnny Ryan, and by Coca-Cola, the official beverage provider at concessions for the Americans. Get your favorite Coke beverage right down there at every home game. And Johnny Ryan also at the ballpark, but that's reserved for players who hit home runs. See who hits a bomb tonight. Jamestown's had plenty of them this season, but the Americans looking to be the team to do it tonight. Nolan Smith up for the second time today. Has a ball in the count. Line shot into right field. The dive by Kiefer does not get there. Kiefer falls to the ground. It's a base hit for Nolan Smith.
Yeah, Kiefer there tried to do his best Superman impression. Fortunately, the ball just a couple inches away from him and can't make that catch. So,
I mean,
early runner on first here for the Tarp Skunks.
He's had plenty of Superman moments. I don't knock him for that attempt. Ben Slanker is up next. Grounded out first time up, but knocked in the run. Brady McGuire coming around to score. Fly ball foul for strike 1 to Slanker. Slanker came in batting .600, so if the Americans can really shut him down tonight, that would show big things for this pitching staff. John Ondas is a Division I arm on the bump, so that should help against the D1 product. In there, down the pike for strike 2. I mean, Niagara University may not have played Ohio in the spring, but Ondas has the experience against big-name teams and big-name players. Can he show that right here for out number 1? 0-2 pitch is a ground ball into right field for the base hit. Slanker on the board with a hit, and Smith into second. Ben Slanker slanks the ball into right. And Justin Bremner up next.
Yeah, Slanker just there. Not a very hard or deep shot ball there. Just drives it to the infield and gets on base there for the Tarp Skunks.
Justin Bremner looking to knock in the run. First runner in scoring position for Jamestown since inning number 1 of this game. Or rather, since the 3rd inning. Ondas throws one outside on the breaking ball. 1-0 to Justin Bremner. Bremner 0 for 1 on the day with a fly out to Panaro in right. 1-0 pitch on the low edge to even things up. Ondas already has let 2 base runners on to start this inning. Smith, the lead runner on second, Slanker behind him. Outside corner for strike 2. Ondas needs that first out with these runners eager to advance into scoring position. And Nolan Smith even the potential to score. Ondas checks back on Smith, who has a lead from second base. Now delivers on the 1-2. It's a high chopper. And Gazaldo was cut off briefly by Smith, but gets the throw to first anyways. 1 down, but the runners advance into scoring position for Jamestown. A productive out by Justin Bremner.
Yeah, that ball just took a weird bounce in the infield and not the right bounce that the Americans wanted. Couldn't get the double play there, but fortunate enough to get at least 1 out there on that play.
Yeah, I mean, Gazaldo also had Nolan Smith in his way a little bit to start things off. Questionable base running from Nolan, but he's on third base. Slanker behind him. Borcher flies out into left field, foul territory. It's out of play for strike 1. Borcher was up in the count early against Ondas, his first time up to bat, but it ended up being a ground out right to Miller, and then Ondas coming over to cover first base. Second time Ondas covered the bag in just the first 5 batters faced. Line shot into Kiefer's glove, and the throw is not in time for the double play. Kiefer almost dishes it off to Ramos for a second out, but just shy of that one. Yeah. Nonetheless, 2 down for Jamestown.
Yeah, Kiefer right here just makes a nice catch. Maybe not the hardest catch, but he definitely makes a nice play. And yeah, like you said, Andrew tries to get to Ramos for the double play, but unfortunately just not in time.
Just the baseball IQ from Kiefer has been shining in recent days. Has those defensive instincts from second base. Brady Marshall takes a low strike to start things off against Ondas for the second time today. Marshall grounded out. Ramos to Miller, his first time up. Marshall looking to get on for the first time today. Popped foul down the first base line. John Ondas is 1 strike away from ending this inning right here. Can he off? Just 3 hits allowed, but right now 2 runners in scoring position, hoping not to strand him. Just under an hour into this ball game, and already a close one and a thriller in the pitcher's duel between Ondas and Bolla. Here's the 0-2. And it's lined foul down the first base line. Borcher was retired for out number 2. Now Marshall hanging in there with 2 down. Ondas. Here's the 0-2 again. Low for ball 1. Pass. Briefly lost it, but the runner's holding up as he refines it pretty quick. Smith and Slanker have been waiting to score since they got on. 2 consecutive batters retired for Ondas since then. Can he make it 3 in a row with the 1-2 count? Ondas sets. Delivers on the 1-2. It's a ground ball to Kiefer, and he'll field another one for out number 3. That ends the top of the 4th inning. Jamestown had 2 consecutive singles. Amounts to nothing. We'll send it to the bottom of the 4th inning after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Hey fans, this season you can connect with the Americans like never before with exclusive content on our social media platforms. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
Those ats are on your screen right now. We'll keep them up for a moment as we shout out our social media managers per usual, Frankie Morris and Leah Fraun. Big thanks for keeping those pages up and running all season long. And the theme of this bottom of the 4th inning has got to be speed. Alan Ramos and Grant Moore do up back-to-back. Chris Gazaldo rounds it out. But Ramos and Moore, 2 of the fastest players on this team. Ramos, ground ball to Marshall at short, trying to beat it out, and he does not get there. So close, but Ramos just gets beat for out number 1.
Yeah, on that one there, Ramos hits into the infield, but takes a couple of bounces, and he's just legging it out towards first. It looked like he might have got there in time, but the umpire unfortunately calls him out at first over there.
Grant Moore up for the 2nd time now. Ramos could not get on. Moore hoping to buck that trend. Takes one low and away. Ball 1 on Grant. Tarp Skunks left 2 on base last inning. Americans just hoping to get on base in the first place. High chopper to Nolan Smith. It's right to him and then covered by Bolla, but not in time. Grant Moore beats it out. The perfecto is gone.
Yeah, Grant Moore there doing something unconventional and slides into first base, and it works in his favor as he gets order with the hit, and now he's on first base.
Grant Moore beating that out. Alan Ramos tried to do the same thing, just got beat on the throw, but an unconventional place for that ball as Nolan Smith has to move. Bolla has to cover and just doesn't have that same speed as John Ondas, I guess. We all know it would win in a race between the 2 pitchers at the very least. Not too sure on a race between Moore and Ramos as that one was a dead heat. But it's 0-1 to Gazaldo here with Moore on first base, ready to take second. Bigger and bigger lead, looking for steal number 34 this season. Pickoff attempt, but now Moore takes off, and he will be tagged out. I mean, some great instincts from Colin Bolla to make the throw to first there. Moore was already on his way to second, and Moore was the first base runner for the Americans. No more on the base paths.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Grant Moore, but when you have a lefty pitcher like Bolla there, he has a slight advantage as he faces towards first base with this windup, so just catches Grant Moore off the bag there.
0-1 pitch, and it's a fly ball into center field. Bremner's backing up. He makes the grab for out number 3. So only 3 batters faced in every single inning for these Tarp Skunks, but nonetheless have let a runner on and given up a hit. So no-hitter, no perfect game, despite the minimum batters faced. We'll send it to the top of the 5th after the break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Some fun and games down on the third baseline. It's Buffalo Sabres tryouts. Some hockey sticks out on the fields, but we bring you back for the top of the 5th inning. And this 5th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is brought to you by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Call 716-870-0753 for expert service. And fitting to have that 716 number on 716 night. We'll give you a look around the PGCBL before this inning kicks off. Muck Dogs up 9-0 on the Pilots now in the top of the 3rd inning, and Double Days tied with the Pioneers in the 4th. Low and away for ball 1 to Dom Costello to start off this inning. Costello popped out to the third baseman Gazaldo his first time up. Low and gets away from past. It's 2-0, but I mean, good thing for the Americans is no runners on base yet.
Yeah, just a unfortunate bounce for past, and yeah, like you said, no one on base, so no need to hurry over to that ball.
So count is well in Costello's favor, but Ondas looking to recover, finds the inside corner. Now 2-1. Costello, another big bat in this Skunks order. I mean, so few that aren't. Every hitter in today's lineup for Jamestown, a batting average of at least 256. But it's 2-2 to Dom Costello here. Yeah, Eric Weeks, the team low in average, and he has 3 homers, so finds his own way to contribute. He's in the on-deck circle right now. Ground ball to Kiefer at second, the throw in time for out number 1. Connor Kiefer has been responsible for each of the last 3 outs. The liner right to him by Borchert, and the ground outs of Marshall and Costello thrown to first by Kiefer.
Yeah, Kiefer definitely has his work cut out for him these last few innings, and I mean, he's no slouch on defense, so he's definitely a reliable guy there over there at second base.
And next up, Eric Weeks flew out to Moore first time up. And I mean, that was a really deep one he hit the first time around. Near extra bases, but Grant Moore with a leaping catch to rob him. 1-0, and it's lined into center field again. Grant Moore backing up, makes another grab. Grant Moore is Eric Weeks' worst enemy so far in this game.
Yeah, it seems like every time that Eric Weeks goes out to a bat, it seems like there's a magnet in Grant Moore's glove, and the ball comes right to him.
I mean, you might as well call him Pikachu because he's looking electric out there in center. And with 2 down, the first pitch to Herman in the low outside corner, just outside for ball 1. Herman at third for the Skunks today, as McGuire moved over to second base. 1-0 pitch right behind the plate. Fouled right into the netting. I mean, if there was no netting there, that ball, from our perspective, was getting bigger and bigger. Looked like it was coming right our way.
Yeah, good thing for that netting. Would have probably broken another window here at South Mackley. We don't need those.
Upstairs to make it 2-1. Yeah, I mean, one window broken last season when Gavin Boyle fouled it off into the other box here, the VIP box down the third base line. Now 3 balls to the batter, Blake Herman. I mean, like, you need glass windows in boxes like this, but to have glass without having netting is a risky call every time. And an upstairs strike call. Herman was making his trot towards first, but ump sends him back. Count is now full with 2 down. John Ondas readies for the payoff pitch. Here it is. That's upstairs anyways. Herman takes his base after all. first runner on in this 5th inning as Branston Lindquist is up next. Lindquist, the only strikeout victim of John Ondas so far today. Struck out swinging for out number 2 in the 3rd inning. Ondas looking for a second against the same batter. Herman's on first again for Lindquist, and check swing, he went. Seems it would have been a strike anyways, but outside corner, strike 1. Lindquist down early. Breaking ball stays upstairs, and the gun to first base not in time and slightly offline. Miller had to move over from the bag to get that from pass, but Herman wasn't budging anyways.
Yeah, Andrew, we got Herman over at first base, and you keep making me think of my dog back at home. His name's also Herman, so a little parallel right there.
And I mean, the foul ball to make it 1-2. Not the first pet we've given a hidden reference to in this game. Our public address announcer, Doc Fawns, has a cat named Flapjack. 1-2 from Ondas to the number 10 hitter, and the stolen base just in time on ball 2. Herman takes off. He has 2 stolen bases tonight. He's tripled his season total.
Yeah, Herman there just kind of put the wheels on it, and that throw from pass was a pretty good one, but Herman just had a little bit of an extra jump there to make it safely into second.
Yeah, Nick Past has looked solid behind the dish tonight, but Blake Herman's had his number. Knows just when to steal, just when pass is caught off guard, and it's a foul ball. Still 2s across the board to Branston Lindquist. Tarp Skunks nearing the end of their 2nd time through the order. Americans still barely through their 2nd time through, as just 3 batters have gone up every single inning for Niagara Falls. Ondas, 2-2 pitch just outside. Fills up this count. Herman ready to take 3rd. Count is all filled up. The pitch from Ondas, and Herman takes off again. The comebacker gets past Ondas, but Ramos makes the throw in time for out number 3. Out recorded despite Ondas missing the ball, and we'll send it to the bottom of the 5th after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Hey fans, you or someone you know have a birthday coming up? Why not spend it with the Americans? Packages include 10 tickets, 2 large Sammy's pizzas, 10 drinks, a customized Organs cake, an autographed Americans baseball, and a special recognition at the game, starting at just $175. Sign up online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com.
And the birthday package sponsored by Wegmans and Sammy's Pizza. Had a nice Sammy's lunch here at the ballpark today. So many different good options. Wings, which are very fitting on this 716 night. Fries, mott sticks, of course pizza, tenders. They have just about anything you can name. Also had a chicken finger sub there one time that was pretty good. But back to the game. Colin Bolla pitching an absolute gem. He's faced just 12 Americans in 4 innings. Gavin Boyle, the next customer, struck out looking the first time up. And we'll keep it here. Speaking of the other birthday sponsor, Wegmans. Wegmans, a sponsor of the Kids Run. That's at the end of the 5th inning. We'll see if Yankee Doodle Dan can keep his undefeated record tonight. But Boyle right now, undefeated in the count at 2-0. Boyle looking to get on for the first time today. Looking for his first hit since the Player of the Week honors back on Monday. Up 3-0 here. And if this continues, could be a 4-pitch walk for Gavin, but I'd imagine with this count, Bolla will attack. And he does, but Boyle has the green light. It's deep into left field, drops just foul. Could have been extra bases for Boyle had that dropped in the left field corner.
Yeah, it seems like the Americans are kind of picking up on what Bolla was doing and knows he attacks on that 3-0 count. So Boyle try to make some contact with that pitch, and he does, but unfortunately falls foul.
A nice call from Paul Wolf and Will Cordero. But Gavin Boyle still up 3-1 in this count. See what Bolla has in store for him here. Now that he knows Boyle's ready to swing. It is just outside, and Lindquist has really been trying to reel in those outside pitches. This umpire has not been phased.
No, this umpire has actually been pretty consistent today in his strike and ball calls. He's had a couple, nick the corner like the one time when a batter thought he was walking, but he's been very good behind the plate today.
I mean, I do want to give tonight's umpires their props. Seen some pretty good umpiring since whatever happened on Saturday. But Graydon Miller is up next. It's a low ball 1. Miller grounded out his first time up, but coming off a 3-for-4 day against those Muck Dogs. Dominated. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Graydon. It's grounded down the third base line and bobbled by Herman. The throw is not in time. Graydon Miller reaches, but this time it's on the error. Boyle's on second, and it's 2 runners on for Shane Prey. Americans getting something going in this game, and for the first time have multiple runners on at the same time.
Yeah, Graydon Miller just shoots a hot shot over to the third baseman, but unfortunately, Blake Herman just can't handle it enough.
And I mean, Colin Bolla, he's the type of guy, been dominant on that first time through the order, but once it gets to that second time through, doesn't always have the longevity to keep it at that same pace. Gets a strike on a pulled back bunt there. But we'll see if Prey can recover here and continue to get knocks off of Bolla. The bunt will go all the way down the first base line, foul. Had some nice carry on it, but not on the right side of the first base line.
Yeah, luckily that ball rolls foul. It seemed like had that ball stayed in fair play, because with that bounce, it probably would have went right to the first baseman, Nolan Smith, and would have been a tough spot for the Americans right there.
Well, technically speaking, it is on the right side of the first base line, but needs to be on the left side. The 0-2 fouled off again to that right side of the first base line. And Prey looking to climb out of this 0-2 hole. I mean, A foul ball is at least going to keep him alive. But looking to battle back. Maybe even make some contact in fair territory off Bolla. Takes one outside for the ball. And I mean, these 0-2 counts, never a guarantee. Still have to be diligent on the mound despite the 2 strikes. I mean, same thing for Joe Chaya on the Americans. Happened a lot in his last start against the Ironbacks. See if Prey can battle back here. It's 2-2 now. What was once an 0-2 hole, now an even count. Shane Prey looking to get on for the first time today. He popped out to the first baseman Smith his first time up. Bolla checks back on Boyle now, delivers. It's a high fly ball into right field foul territory, drops foul again. Almost a mirror image of Gavin Boyle's foul shot earlier in this game. And it's 2-2. Prey hanging in there, 4 consecutive pitches since the 0-2 count. Couple of fouls, couple of balls. See what Prey can do with this one. Another foul down the third base line. That was a rocket. Just a little early on the contact and goes out of play.
Yeah, that one had some distance on it there, and like you said, Andrew, just unfortunately fouls off for Shane Prey, but had he kept it in play, probably would have been at least to the back wall.
When you look at Shane Prey, has the build of a home run hitter. See if he can hit one out of here with the 2-2 count. And it's a big cut and miss instead. He was trying for it, I can tell, but goes down as the first out in this inning. Carmenaro up next with a chance to knock in the base runners.
Yeah, at this about halfway point through the game, this would be a good time for Carmenaro to get a hit here and try to drive a run in here for these Americans.
Carmenaro has Boyle and Miller waiting on base with just one down in the inning. Need to put the ball in play at the very least, and it's outside corner for strike 1 on Carm. Panaro, a very patient hitter. At times, maybe even a bit too patient, but has paid off. OPS nearing 900 on the season. Another breaking ball for an outside strike. Panaro's been fooled by those in the early going against Bolla. Already struck out swinging his first time up today. And Bolla just retired Prey, so still battling in this second time through the Americans' order. Here's the 0-2. It's a high chopper foul. Smith was ready for it at first base, but not going to need to. Panaro in right field for the Americans for the second straight day, looking to get on base for the first time in this game. Doubled yesterday against Batavia. 0-2 pitch coming up from Bolla. And it's a ground ball. This one picked up by Marshall, out at second, and it is in time for the double play. 6-4-3, inning over. The Americans leave one on base and wrap up this 5th inning. But we'll keep it here for the Wegmans Kids run. Americans down in this game, but can Yankee Doodle Dan pick up a win for Niagara Falls?
Yes, be almost a jolt here for these Americans as Yankee Doodle Dan likes to leg it out here on these bases.
The Americans are getting one hit right now. And looking to get a runner to third base. Can Yankee Doodle Dan be the first? He has a massive lead on these baseball buddies. Almost tanking the second half of this race, but it's not even going to matter. Apollo almost bowled over by Apollo in the buffalo hat. Yankee Doodle Dan in the buffalo hat.
Yeah, Yankee Doodle Dan making it a little more 7-1-6 friendly there, carrying around the football in that Josh Allen jersey. Always nice touch.
Definitely in the Josh Allen jersey as well. He's gone full Buffalo tonight.
Yeah, even up here in the press box, I got my all-red James Cook jersey on along with my Buffalo Sabres hat. So it's always love for these Buffalo teams, and unfortunately, so far they haven't had the success that these teams have been looking for. But the Bills have been close so far. The Sabres, not so much, but they're looking to bounce back after this year and some free agent signings and re-signing of Bo Byram. So we'll see how
Can't
they
get
go
much
this year.
worse than the Boston Bruins, I'll give you that.
Yeah, well, they've had some cups in recent years, so they've been there, but Sabres haven't had a whiff of the playoffs within the last 15 years, so hoping to end that drought this year.
And John Ondas back for these Americans. The Sabres may not be winning that much of the 7-1-6, but the Americans certainly have, and they're looking to continue that trend tonight. Sixth inning here on the Americans Baseball Network, brought to you by Niagara County Legislator Chris Robins, Laborers, Local 91, and Wegmans. John Ondas ready for his sixth inning of work as the Tarp Skunks bring in their third time through the order. It's McGuire, Smith, and Slanker to kick things off in this inning. McGuire has walked and grounded out. Line shot down the third base line. That's foul. Early on the contact, and it's 0-1. I mean, might be the hardest hit baseball that we've seen all night, and there's been a few contenders for that. 0-1 pitch is another liner. This gets past Ramos into the outfield for the base hit. Brady McGuire on for the second time today, hit for the first time. Early runner on for Jamestown in this sixth inning, but they have left 4 on base over the last 3 innings.
Yeah, McGuire there just gets a rebound after that foul ball and just drives it right past Ramos, and early runner here for these Tarp Skunks.
Nolan Smith takes a strike on the outside edge. Smith already has a single on today. He's 1 for 2. Grounded out from Miller to Ondas back in the first inning. There's been a couple of those tonight. Pickoff attempt at first, unsuccessful. Americans catchers just 9% of the time catching runners stealing. So it's been a struggle for this team throughout the year. McGuire, a frequent flyer on the base paths, and he takes off again, but it's a foul ball to cancel it out. Americans catch a break that time around. Brady McGuire was looking for steal number 14 of the season. Would be 38 combined between the spring and summer for him, but still at 37 instead. Smith. The SUNY Cortland product down 0-2 with a runner on. Brady McGuire had the leadoff single. Ondas throws it outside for the ball, and the throw is errant. McGuire takes second, thought about third, but won't go.
Yeah, that throw from Nick Pass right there just gets away from Kiefer there to allow McGuire to get to second and just rolls into the outfield. But Grant Moore was right there to hold McGuire there at second.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Nolan Smith punched out. And it's 1 down for the Skunks in this top of the 6th inning. John Ondas with just 2 strikeouts on the day, but they have been critical ones. Both coming with runners on base.
Yeah, Ondas here realizing that there's some threats on the base path, and like you said, Andrew's getting these critical strikeouts in the spots he's needed, so he's coming up strong here today for these Americans.
McGuire now in scoring position for Ben Slanker. Slanker's already knocked in 1 on the ground out, and the pickoff from Ondas just shy. Slanker headed to Louisville in the fall. First pitch down and in for ball 1. Ondas being careful not to put too many over the plate for Slanker. He can really mash them. 21 bombs at school, 1 so far in 5 games as a skunk. .1-0 pitch is inside again, similar spot for ball 2. Got to put it a little closer to Slanker. Get him to chase. 2-0 count on him right now from Ondas, with McGuire on second. Ready for third as well. Ground ball to Miller at first. Ondas again comes over to cover, but Miller won't need it this time around. 2 down. McGuire takes third, so another productive out for Slanker, but no run scoring this time, at least not yet. Justin Bremner up next, the last hope to score Brady.
Yeah, Honest there just gets some weak contact, rolls over right to Graydon Miller and gets the second out, so in a little bit of a better spot there, although McGuire goes over to third.
John Ondas was ready to cover the bag again, but Graydon Miller says, I got it this time. Foul tip right to the right side for strike 1 on Justin Bremner. He's 0 for 2, fly out and a ground out. Bremner batting over 300 on the year. Not quite the same at Canisius, but has done very well this summer in the PGCBL. Breaking ball goes down and away to even things up. Ondas gonna finish the inning right here. McGuire looking to head home, and that's a line shot into right field for the base hit. It's 2-0 Skunks. Now Bremner headed towards second. He'll get there. Goes down as a single and error for Justin Bremner. Knocks in the run. McGuire comes in to score for the second time today. Slanker knocked him in the first inning. Now Bremner this inning. Line drive again, more backing up. And he will leap up, but it drops behind him. Stand-up double for Nathan Borchert. Skunks are up 3-0.
Yeah, Borchert, they would just absolutely drives that ball deep into the center field, and unfortunate enough for the Americans, Grant Moore just can't make that catch that time, but can't win them all, and the Tarp Skunks, get another run in, so now it's 3-0 Tarp Skunks.
Grant Moore backed up for it, a great effort, but just not deep enough. Brady Marshall has grounded out twice. We'll see what he can do with Borchert on second. Ondas has already given up 2 runs this inning. It's strike 1 on the low edge. To the new batter, Marshall. Ondas, 3 runs, but only 2 of them earned. The error responsible for 1 of those. 0-1 pitch is just outside for ball 1. Count even on Brady Marshall. 1 Brady already scored in this inning. Can a second get on base? These Bradys are speed demons for the Skunks. Share the middle infield today. Liner into right field foul territory. Panaro chasing it down. Makes the grab for out number 3. Ondas waited a while for that one. 2 runs scored, but the Skunks up by just 3 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. The Americans hoping to get the bats going and make a comeback. We'll see if they can at the bottom of the 6th.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Hey fans, remember, an American's Game is a great way to entertain a group for the evening, and we are able to offer fundraisers tailored to your group needs, nonprofits, churches, esports, and more. For all information, please visit our website at www.niagarafallsamericans.com.
That website on your screen right now, but great way to bring out a group here at Americans Games. And baseball buddies here tonight. They're a group for this team. The Climsac family brought out a big group on Sunday. And Aiden likely to pitch after 6 innings from John Ondas. See if that comes in the 7th or a little later. Nick Pass kicks things off for the Americans against a still pitching Colin Bolla in this 6th. And it's strike 1 to Nick early. He'll be followed up by Mathey and Kiefer. Takes an outside pitch for ball 1. That's just outside and high. Pass struck out looking his first time up. Takes one inside and gets hit. Nick Pass has really taken a beating over these last few days. And he takes first base right here. I mean, over in Canada, those right-handed hitters were just not safe all night long. Derek Reesberry was hitting righties all night. But Nick Pass has been hit 11 times this season, so it's an unusual amount for him.
Yeah, I mean, from a coach's perspective, obviously those got to hurt, but if you get free bags, can't complain about those, and gets a runner on for these Americans.
Skunks have not given up many free bags, just 3 of them. Liner right to second, or a pickoff attempt rather, but safe at second is Nick Pass. So 0-1 to Tommy Mathey, and Nick Pass in scoring position.
That's not something you usually see out of Nick Pass. He's behind the dish, and I say, see a catcher steal in here as we see Doc Fonz pointing that out as well.
Mathey in an advantageous position after the rare catcher steal. Pass now is a lead towards third, and it's low and away for ball 1. Mathey grounded out to second his first time up. 3-game hit streak, he's looking to expand on it. And action in the Skunks pen. And fly ball into left center field, caught by Bremner for out number 2, or out number 1, excuse me, but Nick Pass takes third base on it. A nice heads-up running play for Pass. Connor Kiefer up next with Nick Past on third and one down. Kiefer takes a strike on the outside edge. Kiefer batting over 300 on the year. Looking to get a hit in this one, and that goes wild. Way outside. Past scores 3-1 ball game. Americans are on the board. One's across the board and a wild pitch.
That's just a great look for the Americans there. I mean, Nick Pass started off by stealing second. Like we said, not something you see every day out of the catcher, and then gets pushed over to the third, and then comes home on the wild pitch. So they don't ask how, they ask how many, Andrew, and the Americans finally get one on the board there.
And it's not even always about speed. Sometimes it's just about smart base running, and Nick Past is a master of it. Low and in. Put the count in Kiefer's favor. Bolla seeming to get a little flustered in this sixth inning. He had a very strong first 5 of work, especially those first 4 innings when he faced just 12 batters. But slowly beginning to lose his command of the zone, and it's shown gradually inning by inning. Gave up a hit in the 4th, gave up a couple of base runners in the 5th, and now a run in the 6th. Pop up into the foul territory behind the plate. It goes out of play to fill up this count. Connor Kiefer stays alive as he fouls that one far enough from the catcher Lindquist and over the netting into the stands.
Yeah, that ball came dangerously close there to having Lindquist catch it, but unfortunately doesn't stay fair, and another ball for those fans out there.
Those fans happy to have another. More candy for them to eat. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Connor Kiefer strikes out his second time up. He's 0 for 2. Alan Ramos up next with 2 down, and now the base is empty as Past came in to score on the wild pitch for a ball on Kiefer early. Ramos grounded out to the Tarp Skunks' own shortstop, Brady Marshall. Shortstop to shortstop back in inning number 4, but it's strike 1 to Ramos here. Grant Moore on deck. Ramos needs to get on to bring him up in this inning. Just outside for ball 1. Moore has yet to have a runner on base when he's been up to bat today. See if that changes here. If Ramos and Moore can get on together, some serious double steal potential. 2-1 to Allen on the outside ball. Ramos hoping his patience can pay off for another free bag. Bolla's already given up 1 this inning, and he came around to score. Fly ball into shallow right field. Coming in is Eric Weeks, but it's the second baseman, Brady McGuire, to make the grab. End of the 6th inning, and we'll send it to the top of the 7th after the break.
You know, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
We bring you back for the top of the 7th, and you hear the song. It's It's one of my favorite walk-up songs on the team, Timeless by The Weeknd. I'm a big Weeknd fan myself. Aiden Climsac is out to pitch. That's his walkout song. Climsac had the complete game shutout against the Ironbacks 2 outings ago. Came out of the pen in the doubleheader against the Pioneers, went 2 innings and picked up the win. Puts him at 3-0 with a .79 ERA and 6 strikeouts. Climsac has been a dominant force for these Americans ever since he joined the team in late June. And he'll face the bottom of the Skunks order, Costello, Weeks, and Herman. Andrew Roberts here. And Avery Vogt will be back with us in a few moments. Well, in the meantime, we'll give you those 7th inning sponsors. 7th inning brought to you by Elks Lodge of Niagara Falls, Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Stalka Agency, and Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews. Also give you the final stat line for John Ondas. He finishes with a quality start. 6 innings, 3 runs, just 2 of them earned, 6 hits allowed, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. A nice outing for John Ondas, and Climsac takes over to face Dom Costello, the designated hitter, for the 3rd time today. He's 0 for 2, popped out and grounded out his first 2 times up. And what a game by John Ondas, but that's flown into the shallow outfield, a pop-up into Ramos's glove for out number 1. So 2nd pop-out of the night for Dom Costello, this time off of Climsac.
Yeah, Costello there just kind of shoots the ball straight in the air. Looks like Gonzalo was going to come down with it, but Ramos calls him off and makes the nice, easy catch.
But got to give some flowers to John Ondas for an excellent outing out on the bump. Quality start for John as Climsac takes over in this 7th. Eric Weeks, the next batter, takes a low ball 1. Flew out to center both of his first 2 times up. Graham Moore with a leaping catch that first time around. And Avery back with a Coke. Down from concessions. Coca-Cola, the official beverage sponsor of the Americans. And it's 1s across the board for Eric. Big cut and miss to make it 1-2. Aiden Climsac looking for his first strikeout of the night and number 7 on the year. Can he get it right here with the count in his favor? Pop up. Foul territory, goes out of play.
Yeah, clearly here Climsac's going out and trying to attack all these hitters, and so far he's gotten a lot of swing and miss stuff out of here out of these Tarp Skunks.
Yeah, no strikeouts yet, but can he get one here? Yes, he does. There it is. Eric Weeks goes fishing and does not come up with anything.
Yeah, I kind of as a go in there by Doc Fonz saying got skunked there, and he got that right as Climsac shows a nice pitch there to get the first strikeout for him on the day.
Blake Herman up next with 2 down. The last hope to avoid the 1-2-3 to start Climsac's night. And the Americans started down 3-0, but they scored a run in the 6th. They're fighting to battle back. 1-0 early in the count to Herman. He's reached base both times up tonight. Single and a walk. Managed to steal both times as well. Foul ball to even up the count now. Will Taylor in the pen for Jamestown. Appears likely he'll take over for Bolla after 6 innings of work. Colin Bolla has thrown 82 pitches. 1-1 pitch is low and away. And Herman has a hitter's count.
Yeah, Herman there looked like he was going to swing, but pulls back successfully, so no strike on him there.
Blake Herman. 2-1 pitch, another breaking ball. That finds the zone for strike 2. 2s across the board. Aiden Climsac. We're going to end this inning right here with a 2nd consecutive K. Eric Weeks went hacking on the last at bat. Will Blake Herman do the same, or can he recover? Lights are on, and they're getting bright for these teams. 2-2 pitch is down and in. Herman doesn't bite. Count is full. Those lights just getting brighter, Avery, in more ways than one. Climsac. Payoff pitch. It's popped into the left field side. Alan Ramos backing up to make the grab for out number 3. Alan Ramos caught a couple of pop-ups this inning. It sends it to the bottom of the 7th. We'll be right back after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Hey fans, the Niagara Falls Americans would love to partner with your business. Americans have lots of options to make your presence known in your community. Please visit our website at www.niagarafallsamericans.com to get involved, and as always, go Americans.
That website once again on your screen. And you can join the sponsor scroll here on the broadcast. Partner with the Americans today. Grant Moore up for the 3rd time today. He's 1 for 2, reached on the infield single. That was a very impressive beat out for the first hit of the day, and Moore going to get something going in the bottom of the 7th. Down 2 runs, takes an outside ball 1. Colin Bolla hanging in there for the time being. Tarp Skunks have a somewhat short leash on him with bullpen action, but Moore flies that into center field. Bremner's there, makes the grab for out number 1. And I mean, through the first 3 innings, the Americans didn't have a single flyout in this game, so just to get some balls into the outfield is a good improvement for these bats. But Chris Gazaldo, 0 for 2 on the day, and as we mentioned, the X Factor, always making an impact when the Americans win. And the team is 13-5 when he has a hit. It's ball 1 to Chris in this top of the 7th. I mean, the Americans still have managed to win games without Gazaldo hits, but a lot more of a coin flip. 1-0 pitch, a big cut and miss. The real question is, I mean, last night, Gazaldo directly impacted the game, but could it be more of a bellwether situation? Outside ball 2 to Chris. Because if he can get on base regardless, that's still impacting the game, even without a hit. And that's a fly ball into center field. Bremner coming in for this one, and he jumps up to make the grab. Chris Gazaldo almost laid that one down for the bloop single, but Bremner with a nice eye on that ball. Tracking it down for the 2nd consecutive fly out to center. Also the 2nd consecutive fly out to center for Chris Gazaldo in this game.
Yeah, the Americans unfortunately fly out to center twice right there, and now down to Gavin Boyle here in this inning to keep it alive.
Boyle a strikeout and a walk tonight, looking for some contact in fair territory. Outside ball 1 to Gavin. Boyle. The final hope in this 7th inning. The Americans still down 2 runs. They're getting 1 hit by Colin Bolla. The Americans, over these last couple games, have faced a pair of lefties in Bolla and Gavin Chandler, and I think teams are starting to figure out these Americans have struggled against lefties this season. Tarp Skunks only have so many of them, so that's the disadvantage they're at in this series, but a big cut and miss for Boyle. 1 strike on the count here. Would be a big win for the Tarp Skunks if they take this. Only need one of the next 2 to win the series, and the next one's at home for them. High chopper to first base, and Nolan Smith takes care of it himself. Route number 3. Bolla was ready to cover, but won't need to. Gavin Boyle, his first contact in fair territory, but a ground out to end this inning. We'll send it to the 8th after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
We bring you back for the 8th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network. Aiden Climsac ready for his 2nd inning of work. This 8th inning is brought to you by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. And Colin Bolla hung in there for a 7th inning of work. Has dazzled in this one-hitter on 92 pitches through 7 innings. But we'll give you a look around the PGCBL as this game nears its end. The Doubledays up 3-1 on the Elmira Pioneers in Auburn. Muck Dogs 10-0 over the Pilots. 1 more inning, and the Muck Dogs have the chance to mercy. It's the top of the 6th there.
Yeah, it'd be a good day there for the Muck Dogs. Unfortunate enough for us, but had they lost today and we pulled off the win, we would have been in first place. So doesn't look like it's going to happen today, Andrew, but the days move on, and we got to keep going.
Muck Dogs hanging on to first place. The Americans just half a game back. Win tonight will at least keep them there, if not put them in first. But the Pilots unlikely to come back on these Muck Dogs. So the Americans just fighting to stay in this same position. A loss tonight would put them 1.5 back and tie them for 3rd. Or tie them for 2nd with the Skunks, excuse me. But 1-1 to Branston Lindquist. Climsac facing him for the first time. Breaking ball drops low. It's 2-1. Tarp Skunks looking to add to their 2-run lead. Lindquist 0 for 2 on the night with a strikeout. High chopper. Ramos in there to pick it up down the middle. Throw in time for out number 1. So Lindquist 0 for 3 now, and Brady McGuire, who's reached and scored twice, up next.
Yes, it'll be a good test here for the Americans, and especially with Aiden Climsac on the mound. It's a different approach here for Brady McGuire, but it'd be good here to get a nice 2nd out here and keep him off the base path.
And I mean, Ondas was solid on the mound, but it's hard to beat a .79 ERA. Aiden Climsac came in with that, and he has just dominated all season long for these Americans. We'll see if he can keep it up here. The breaking ball, a 12-6 curveball. Nasty stuff, but does not get the batter to bite. McGuire staying patient for ball 1.
Yeah, I don't know about that first pitch there, Andrew. Seemed like it could have hit the zone there, but no call from the umpire, so remains a unfortunate 1-0 count here.
It was a nice pitch by Climsac. Debatable where it ended up, but high ball 2 to Brady McGuire. I mean, these fans got to just be in awe with the beauty of that first pitch from Aiden, but has to recover in this count. Finds the outside corner for strike 1. There's that strike call from the home plate umpire. But count still in McGuire's favor. 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. Just outside to make it 3-1. Climsac looking to get out of this inning cleanly. A walk would not help his case. But McGuire, ever so patient, grounds it to Ramos now, and the throw to first is in time for out number 2. So McGuire finally gets one he wants to swing at, but Ramos making a nice play to prevent the hit there.
Yeah, Ramos here has had a couple balls here hit to him during this inning, and he's been involved in both plays to get the outs here, and so he's had a great showing here on defense here in this inning.
Alan Ramos has been responsible for each of the last 4 outs in the field. Smith, a grounder right to Miller this time. Climsac was ready to cover, but Miller takes it himself. Nolan Smith retired. Graydon Miller's been busy this inning as well. 3 putouts. We send it to the bottom of the 8th after the break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
To the park tonight, remember that Americans Game is a great way to bring your group together, whether it's a school, church, business, or youth sports organization. Americans are also able to offer great options and even picnics for your organization or business. Reserve your group online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com.
We bring you back for the bottom of the 8th. Yeah, thank you to everyone who tuned in to tonight's broadcast. Graydon Miller just had 3 putouts on defense. Can that good defense lead to good offense? He's up 1-0 in the count.
Well, yeah, Andrew, one big saying in sports is can't win championships without a defense, and with Graydon Miller playing great defense, maybe, like you said, Andrew, lead to good offense.
2-0 count to Graydon. Miller, 4 extra base hits on the season, 2 doubles, 1 triple, 1 homer. He's 0 for 2 tonight, but reached on an error. 2-0 pitch, a high chopper, and the shovel to first in time for out number 1. My goodness, these Skunks just keep sending down batters.
Yeah, there, Graydon Miller just kind of chops that ball into the infield, and Colin Bolla kind of made a difficult play, but barehands that ball and gets a nice first out there for the Tarp Skunks at first base.
Shane Prey 0 for 2 as well. Looking to be the first base runner this inning. Colin Bolla just keeps on going. First pitch from Colin, the breaking ball upstairs for ball 1. Seemed like Bolla wanted that to break back down and into the strike zone, but kind of loses control of it. Another upstairs pitch for ball 2. Bolla hanging in there for now. I mean, it's worked for these Skunks. Has arguably become the best starting pitcher for Jamestown, and He's only had 3 starts this season. Liner into center field. Bremner coming in, makes the grab for out number 2. Justin Bremner has been a rock in center field. Carmpanaro up next for the Americans, their own right fielder. Colin Bolla looking for his 8th inning completed.
Yeah, as this game goes on, Andrew, like you said, Bolla's about to get through his 8th inning, and I mean, it's just been tough for these Americans. Haven't really figured him out. Only gotten 1 hit across so far.
I mean, good thing for the Americans is there's only 1 Colin Bolla, and there's 3 games in this series. Panaro takes the outside strike. Americans will next face these Skunks tomorrow in Jamestown. First pitch in that one at 6:30. We'll have all the coverage here on the Americans Baseball Network. It's 0-2 to Panaro here. Can he recover on the final strike? Swing and a miss. Colin Bolla, an absolute gem. Dugout coming out to greet him. Have a day, Colin Bolla. We'll send it to the 9th inning after the break. Americans with 1 more chance to come back in the bottom of the inning. But first, see if Climsac can finish out the game cleanly. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the top of the 9th inning, Andrew Roberts. Avery Vogt will be back with us momentarily for this top of the 9th inning, as well as the entire 9th inning. Sponsored by Casella, by Salino Plumbing, by Blaze Brockway Contracting, and Wright Beverages, providing all the alcohol down at Deb's Beer Garden, run by Leah Fraun today. Our social media and merchandise manager, trying something new tonight. And this is a tough part of the lineup for Aiden Climsac to face. Ben Slanker, Justin Bremner, and Nathan Borchert all due up this inning. Borchert came in batting .299, but had a double tonight, so back up above 300. Slanker and Bremner first up. Both big bats for these Skunks. 2 of them are lefties to face the righty Climsac, including Slanker, who takes ball 1 low. Slanker. With the count in his favor, and that gets away from pass briefly. 2 balls on the count early. Ben Slanker, 1 for 3 tonight. Came in with a batting average of .600. And the count at 3-0 on him here. Slanker, ready for a potential 4-pitch walk, but we'll see what Climsac has in store for him here. It's a fly ball into deep right field, going back. And that's foul. Ben Slanker slanked it deep, but no homer here, despite 21 in the spring.
Yeah, Slanker, they just absolutely demolished that ball. Luckily, just ends up foul, though. Oh, yeah, I mean, Slanker, they just dismantled that ball, and luckily for the American, though, just ended up foul.
That is low for ball 4 on the breaking ball. Ben Slanker takes a free bag. I mean, not a guy you want to pitch right to, so I understand giving up the walk right there, but got to get strikes in at some point. We'll see if Climsac can against Justin Bremner. I mean, he's been excellent so far. Had 6 consecutive batters retired in his first 2 innings of work. Just looking to finish this inning cleanly after the early walk of Slanker. Justin Bremner, 1 for 3, single and error last time up, a swing and miss for strike 1 here. Bremner, right around a .333 batting average on the year, and right on the nose in this game. Slanker has a lead towards second, and he takes off. Fly ball anyways in foul territory. Miller's under it. He makes the grab.
Nice.
Throw to first is in time for the double play. Graydon Miller, a heads-up play, and 2 are down.
Yeah, Slanker there just was trying to steal second, and fortunate enough for the Americans, it pops foul right to Graydon Miller, and Slanker can't get back to first in time, and nice double play there for the Americans.
That is huge for the Americans. I mean, they're going to have to start hitting in the bottom of the 9th inning. Colin Bolla has nearly blanked them in this game. But Nathan Borchert, after the double, looking for another hit. Strike 1 on the low edge. I mean, John Ondas gave up 3 hits in his final inning of work. Aiden Climsac has been dominant in relief. Just 8 batters faced and 8 batters retired. 2 of them on that single play there, but Climsac not only great on the mound, but great off the mound, going to cover first base for the double play. And it's 1-1 here to Nathan Borchert. Next pitch, a breaking ball, finds the low inside corner. Aiden Climsac, 1 strike away from handing the baseball over to the Americans for 1 more chance to win this game. This was the exact same score last night headed into the bottom of the 9th, and the Americans walked it off for the first time this season. It's now 2s across the board to Borchert. So Batavia showing that a 2-run lead is not necessarily enough against these Americans, but if Colin Bolla keeps pitching the way he's pitching, it might be here. Low and away, just outside for ball 3. Count is full. Climsac has had 2 strikes on this count for a while, but consecutive balls on close calls have this count full. Payoff pitch. Foul tip to keep the batter alive. Borchert is 1 for 3 on the day. The hit coming on his most recent at bat. Can he get another? Will he take a walk? Or will he strike out at the mercy of Climsac? Climsac has 1 strikeout already. Just 3 in this game for the Americans, but just 3 runs allowed in 6 hits. So ground ball pitching working for the most part. That gets away from pass, and it's ball 4. Nathan Borchert was thinking maybe he could get 2 bases there, but no. Just 1 on the walk. Dom Costello up next. Or excuse me, Brady Marshall first.
Seems to be a pinch runner here for the Tarp Skunks.
So Borchert showing speed, but Tarp Skunks have speedier. Nico Frizzell, the pinch runner for Jamestown. A good choice, in my opinion. He had the inside the park home run here back the first time Jamestown came to Sal Magley this season. One of 13 home runs for the Skunks this season, and it's outside for ball one. Frizzell has just one steal, but clearly not representative of his base running abilities, given the inside the Parker. And pickoff attempt unsuccessful at first. Climsac just looking for that third out. Got the first two on Bremner's at bat. Marshall. Hack and miss to make it 1-1. Aiden Climsac. Looking for another clean game. He's been dominant this season. Giving up just one run, and it's a wild pitch. Bounces in the dirt. It's ball two, and taking second is the pinch runner for Zell. Nico Frizzell, presumably, if this game goes to a 10th inning, will also serve as the extra hitter, unless the Skunks opt to pinch hit again. But Frizzell takes second base here, and it's a ground ball. Kiefer just gets to it in time. It was up the middle,
Nice
and in
play.
time for out number 3. Connor Kiefer, a dominant force at second base. He retires the side. We'll send it to the bottom of the 9th and see if the Americans can make the comeback. Connor Kiefer, what a ball player.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Colin Bolla getting ready for his 9th inning of work, hoping for the complete game on these Americans. Colin Bolla's over 100 pitches, but has been very effective. One hitting Niagara Falls. Nick Pass, Tommy Mathey, and Connor Kiefer. The final 3 hitters due up. We'll see if they can change the narrative in this game, knock out Bolla, and get the win. Connor Kiefer notably ended that top of the 9th. And as we like to say here on the broadcast, good defense tends to lead to good offense. We'll see if that reigns true for Connor Kiefer.
Yeah, after that amazing and stellar play by Connor Kiefer, I hope he gets rewarded with a nice hit here in the bottom of the 9th. So maybe get some good offense here out of the Americans in the last ups.
Nick Past takes one just in there on the outside edge for strike 1. Past 0 for 1. He's been hit. This is just the 3rd time through the Americans order. Outside again, but finds the outside edge of the zone. Similar spot. Bolla still has very strong command of this strike zone in his 9th inning of work. Can he strike out Past in 3 pitches? No, he cannot. That's a little too far outside and keeps Past alive. He hasn't swung yet in this at-bat. His strikeout came looking earlier today, and it's a grounder to Herman at 3rd. The throw in time for out number 1. Another nice stretch by Nolan Smith. Not quite as good as the one earlier in this game in the very 1st inning, but Tommy Mathey up with 1 down and nobody on. Mathey, the extra hitter, looking to save his 3-game hit streak and keep the Americans alive as well.
Yeah, Mathey here looking to try to get a jump start here for the Americans and get something going here. But after that first out by Nick Pass, trying to get something on base here.
And I mean, who else but Grant Moore to have the only Americans hit of the day? And didn't even get into the outfield. It was an infield single. Colin Bolla has barely let balls into the outfield all day long, and when they have, they've been flyouts. Ball 1 to Tommy. And the 1-0 pitch just finds the outside corner. One's across the board to Tommy Mathay. Colin Bolla, it doesn't matter whether he's facing a righty or a lefty. Loves to pitch outside, force guys to chase. Mathay lines it into the outfield for the base hit. Marshall jumped up for it but cannot get there. Tommy Mathay hit streak up to 4 games, and this game is alive.
Yeah, just like I said, Andrew, we want to get someone on base here, and fortunate enough for the Americans, Tommy Mathay just gets a nice hit, and now we got someone on and something going here for the Americans.
How about that? Tommy Mathay, only the 2nd hit today for the Americans, but it was a big one. There's been a lot of 50-50 balls put out into the field for the Americans, but finally one that goes in their favor after all those flyouts. Graydon reached on the error. That was the only other thing close to a hit, but Connor Kiefer up next. And that was the first hit of the day into the outfield for the Americans. Mathay has a lead. Was already tried once on the pickoff attempt, but takes his lead back with Connor Kiefer up. Another pickoff attempt. Bolla using his pickoffs early here. Kiefer's 0 for 2 with a ground down and a strikeout swinging. But even with some rough at bats, has had some nice hits mixed in. An outside ball to start Kiefer off here. Kiefer had a 7 for 14 stretch that ranged through the weekend for him. That has since been slowed down over the last couple games, but he's still finding ways to get his hits here and there. Kiefer takes one on the inside corner for strike 1. One's across the board to Connor. Kiefer's had a hit in more than half his games this season. Just 6 without one. Low and in, but finds the corner again. Colin Bolla painting that corner beautifully. Can he retire Kiefer right here? Tarp Skunks have triple the runs and triple the hits the Americans have. Kiefer looking to change that with Mathay on first, but he's down 1-2 in the count. Swing and a miss, but Mathay still on first. Kiefer chases for another strikeout swinging. It's been a rough night for him. And Alan Ramos up next, the final hope for these Americans with Tommy on first.
Yeah, it'd be good here for Ramos to get on base here, and after him would be Graham Morris. Would be a good spot to be put in for these Americans. Let's hope he gets on base here.
Ramos, plenty of speed too, and speed has been how the Americans have scored their 1 run tonight. Mick Pass taking advantage of some wild pitches, some productive outs to make it all the way home. Smart base running as well, a part of the equation. But first pitch, swung on and missed by Ramos for strike 1. Colin Bolla, 1 out away from a complete game on these Americans. And the silver lining for Niagara Falls, 2 more games in the series and only 1 of Colin Bolla. He'll be gassed after today, but having a day out on the bump. Another big cut and miss. Colin Bolla, 1 more strike, and this game is over. Looking to do the remarkable against these Americans. He's given up just 2 hits and 1 run. Can he retire a 27th batter? Not quite yet. Ball 1 outside to Ramos. Americans, if they don't win tonight, at least need to win this series to get the playoff tiebreaker on Jamestown. A loss tonight will tie them in the standings with the Skunks, so these are very high stakes. Swing and a miss right there. Right, he got a piece of it. Alan Ramos hanging in there. Those small pieces of it, keeping the Americans alive. He represents the tying run. But Bolla looking to finish this game. And he does. There's the swing and miss. Ramos goes fishing. Game over. The Americans lose 3-1. And they have 2 more against these Skunks. Colin Bolla, 9 innings, just 2 hits and 1 run allowed. Have a day, Colin Bolla. Just 1 walk and 7 strikeouts on the night. So, I mean, hard to name an MVP that's not Colin Bolla here, Avery, but any Americans that stand out to you?
Yeah, like you said, Andrew, Colin Bolla just was out there really wheeling and dealing and only allowed 2 hits. But if I got to give someone to the Americans, I got to say Alan Ramos. He's a guy that was just playing a lot of defense, and he just made some good plays. But I got to give it to either Alan Ramos or Connor Kiefer. Connor Kiefer made some really nice plays to try to keep these Americans in the game, but unfortunate enough, it wasn't enough for this team.
Yeah, Colin Bolla had to face just 30 batters to finish this game. Ramos had his moments, but, I mean, I'm going to give it to Grant Moore. I know it was only 1 hit for him, but Moore beating out that infield single, showing off his speed, even in a game like this, finding ways to get on base. I credit that.
Yeah, that's a good play to point out, Andrew. It's seems kind of like an inconsiderate play and doesn't seem like it means much, but like you said, Andrew, it's kind of almost like a spark to this roster, and unfortunate enough, it didn't have a big enough spark for these Americans to get anything really going, but yeah, it was a good play by Grant Moore to beat it out and slide into first base.
But I think perhaps the most notable thing about this game is the transformation for Jamestown. This was a team that came in as a bullpen team. So many pitchers deep, usually pitched multiple guys. Starters weren't going more than 3 innings. Now they've had multiple complete games this season. Colin Bolla is the latest. Colin Bolla, have a day. But for everyone who tuned in to the broadcast, whether it be from Niagara Falls or from Jamestown, thank you so much for tuning in. Final score from Niagara Falls, Americans lose 3-1 to the Tarp Skunks. And Avery, thank you so much for coming on as well.
Yeah, it's always a good time on here, Andrew. Unfortunate enough, though, not a great game out of the Americans, but they'll always look to bounce back. They can definitely do it, so we'll see how they come in the next few games.
Well, the Americans will have another shot at the Skunks tomorrow night in Game 2 of a 3-game set. First pitch will be at 6:30, just like this game, and we will have all the coverage here on the Americans Baseball Network. There's all the info for tomorrow on your screen right now. But for now, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. This has been